Hi, my name is Dominic Lewington, Director of Solution Consulting at Highmetric, a global elite ServiceNow partner. Welcome to another edition of Highmetric's Tech Bytes series, where we spend 8 minutes discussing the easily digestible value-add use case facilitated by the brand new ServiceNow Orlando release. Today we're going to have a look at modernizing our CMDB, the Common Service Data Model in Orlando. As ever, let's start with a quick summary from the documentation. So what is the CSDM? Well, it represents a shared set of service-related definitions that span the ServiceNow product portfolio and the Now platform. They are being standardized to ensure accurate service reporting and consistent use of standard terms, as well as to provide prescriptive guidance on service modeling. The data model includes the recommended mappings for service-related tables and the CI classes. So, in effect, the CSDM is a contextualized layer that allows us to visualize the relationship between services and configuration items and so forth. So as a thought experiment, let's actually try and simplify things. So what does the CSDM allow us to do in the configuration management field, and what value does it bring? Well, it allows us in effect to map how infrastructure and configuration items support all the way up to business capabilities. So on top of the infrastructure might sit applications which define a service, which then hosts a business application which adds value to a business capability. That is the top-down, bottom-up view of the CSDM in terms of the relationship between configuration items that build out the business capability directly from the infrastructure configuration items. Now, where that bisects is really the business application and technical services that can be offered by a business, which belong in portfolios, which build out service catalogs, which also build out service offerings. So what we'll do today is when we look through the ServiceNow demonstration, we'll see the relationship between these configuration items, these capabilities, and these services. We'll also look at the categorization of services. We can have business services, application services, and technical services. And although they sit in the same table within the CMDB, the best way to visualize it is that technical services really promote and support business services, business capabilities, and application services. So with that in mind, let's move across for a quick demonstration on ServiceNow. Okay, so let's have a more detailed look at the Common Services Data Model. So I've opened up the CI Class Manager at the business capabilities level, a business capability being or representing a high-level capability that an organization requires to execute its business model or fulfill its mission. So you'll notice that business capabilities are at the top of the tree, and they have a parent-child based relationship with each other and a hierarchical level score. So in effect, we can see that the business capability analyze financial health has a parent of assessing the internal environment. So business capabilities are generally expressed as short, sharp sentences. Let's have a look at some of the relationship between business capabilities and other configuration items. So being at the top of the tree, it's fairly limited at this level, but business capabilities are provided by services and business applications. Let's move down one step. Business applications, again, you'll notice they have a relationship to categories, manufacturers, and probably most importantly, business processes. Also, attributes such as technology stack, install type, application type, allow you to understand and differentiate between all the business applications that are being used to support your business capabilities. Again, as you go down that hierarchical stack, we'll see that we have some relationships here. So business capabilities are provided by business application. Business applications use information objects and consumes services. So a business application represents all the software and infrastructure environments, dev, test, production, QA, and so forth, configured to provide business functionality. So at the heart, as we step down through the contextual logical model here, we have the concept of a service. Now, services come in three types, as you can see here from the configuration item list. Business services, application services, and technical services. And as we mentioned on the initial slide deck, technical services are generally used to support business services and application services, where a business service and application service is really defined by its audience. These two services will have different audiences within the organization. Let's have a look at the relationship rules. So now we're getting a bit busier. We can see that business applications consume services. Business capabilities are provided by services. Service depends on services with those relationships between application, technical, and business. And disaster recovery is provided also by services. As we go down from services, services connect to network gear. They depend on infrastructure pieces such as servers, applications, web services, and so forth. They also receive data from applications and again run on hardware, or in this particular case, a Unix server is being used as an example. So services are configuration items. They're also provided for by portfolios. So if I move across to my service owner workspace, I can see here my service portfolio. In this particular example, the wall cart service portfolio. Underneath that piece, again, a hierarchical model, as a lot of things tend to be within ServiceNow, especially when we're talking about configuration management. We'll notice that we have 4 taxonomy nodes, as they're referred to: communications, employee portals, networking. These can be viewed really as categories. So if we pick networking, you'll notice we have one service. 2 services allowed for here: wireless networking and virtual private networking. With the service owner workspace, we get additional information provided for a service owner or a process owner, or even an application owner type audience. Things like performance score, CSAT, NPS, things like estimated annual spend, very important if the service is provided, for argument's sake, by a vendor, an external vendor. So let's drill down from the services to the service offerings. So you can see in this case, the wireless networking service has 2 service offerings: Wi-Fi for employees and Wi-Fi for guests. And again, with the service owner workspace, I can see related service management objects. I can see things like outages. I can see things like changes, things like major incidents and so forth. So I can manage my services and my service offerings from a perspective of service management, whether I be an external vendor or whether I be an application process or service type owner. So services are key: upstream, business capability and business applications. And now let's have a look at downstream. Underneath services, they tend to be supported by either commercial off-the-shelf or homegrown applications. So let me open up the applications list. Here again, you can see things like the name of the application, the categorization, versioning, operational status, whatever it might be, allow me to manage my applications, my technologies that provide a backbone for the services and capabilities we've talked to so far. Relationship rules. As we now go downstream, we can see that services and service depend on and receive data from applications. Applications depend on things like servers, databases, hardware, network gear, and so on. So as well as depending on those pieces, applications tend to run on technology stacks that underpin them. So last but not least, let's have a look at the lowest rung in the hierarchy, which is infrastructure configuration items. Here I've chosen to look at computers, which is a child of hardware. Again, all these different hardware and infrastructure CIs make up supporting technology stacks for applications, which up the tree support things like services, business applications, and business capabilities. And at this particular level, let's have a quick look at the relationship rules, or the suggested relationships. And we can see very, very busy here. Computers or hardware are powered by rack provided by virtual machine pieces. Services and computers depend on hardware, clusters, and so forth. And downstream, computers use routing rules. They contain storage pools, storage volumes, and so forth. They own things like interfaces, defines resources for things like virtual machine hosts, depends on hardware, computer peripherals, and so forth, and also runs on virtual machines in terms of a guest. So that is a whistle-stop tour of the hierarchical model provided by the common service data model. In the middle, at the heart of everything we do are the services, and these can be, again, hosting business applications which provide functionality for business capabilities, and downstream are supported by applications and infrastructure CIs. That is a fairly simplistic view of the common services data model, but hopefully that allows you to contextualize or visualize quite a complex model, hopefully just a little bit more easily. Okay, so let's wrap stuff up. Thank you very much for your time and attention today as we discussed the Common Services Data Model on the brand new ServiceNow Orlando release. Please do reach out to us through our social channels, through myself or directly to your account manager, whether you have questions on anything we've discussed today or any other matter related to the ServiceNow platform or the applications. So on that note, it's time to say goodbye, but I will see you on the next episode of Highmetric's Tech Bytes.